everyone, and welcome back to Expert Consultant with your host, Chris DickRson, and co-host, Coco D.
Yo.
So, on today's episode, I guess we're going to talk about Outriders, a game that I did not expect to be as enjoyable as it is. And this is just from the demo. So a little bit of background. Outriders is made by the development team over at People Can Fly. I have a mixed history with them.
Yeah, what else
Um,
did they do? I remember their logo, but I can't remember where I saw it at.
so, Brandon, the game that you would probably be most familiar with is Bulletstorm, which I think is their best game, to be honest with you.
That's right. Coincidentally, I've also playing that like right after you told me about Outriders. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
how I
remember you
forgot
mentioning
already.
that. Yeah. So they I guess they're originally known for the painkiller games, which is like old school like shooters in the way of Doom and stuff back when it first came out. I've only played a demo of a painkiller game, but I know it has its fan base. I've just never experienced it. uh they worked with on the Gears of War series. They kind of worked with Epic a little bit to help make it, and then their big break was Gears of War Judgment, which is their first I guess their first like real game in a while that they developed on their own. As after Bulletstorm, I think my guess is like after Bulletstorm, because I think that was a pretty big hit for them, even though it did not sell well. I think it reviewed well enough and enough people remember it fondly to kind of like for it did this have this like weird place in history. I think Bulletstorm is one of those games that like a lot of people have picked up on like $5 sales, the fact, hey, you're still playing it, in 2021, you're still picking up Bulletstorm.
It's still super fun.
So yeah, like I think it
I don't
holds
know what
up.
the story is, but it's super fun.
Yeah, it like holds up in an interesting way. But I just like Gears of War Judgment was just so bad for me. Like that was just like gosh, that put me on just like a negative viewpoint of them for good. And it's not great, but it's just like I was just always worried. So when I saw they were doing Outriders, I was like, oh, all right, Bulletstorm was good. Let's see how they do. And then I saw Square Enix was publishing it, their Western or division. I was terrified. Uh, their Western division, I'm sorry, has not published a good game in years. I will gladly like, oh my gosh, like Square Enix Europe is a disaster of like a publishing company. Just for Brandon, what you would know is like just like the Just Cause series has Just Cause 4 was a disaster. Just Cause 4 did not need to happen. Just like was 3 was great. 3 was very solid. And then
Love
4
three.
just
Logged hundreds of hours into three.
yeah, 4 that was it. That's the end of the series. I never finished it. As much of a Just Cause fan as I was, the 4 was awful. And they just
Yeah,
had
you
this
know
like
how much I love Just Cause. I played that game for maybe an hour or two, and I have not gone back.
yeah, yeah,
And I
exactly.
love Just Cause.
It's it's just like it's terrible. Like what they did, and it's just like, and then the Tomb Raider series. I know you still have to play like 2 and 3, but man, it shot downhill real quick after 2 and 3. Like it's just, oh my gosh, I did not like the third game. I think I can see why a lot of people like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. There are things, it's entirely puzzles, which I get a lot of people probably really wanted, but for me, I was never the biggest fan of original Tomb Raider games. So like just being puzzle focused wasn't my thing. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider is all puzzles with very like maybe like 2 or 3 combat scenarios. So that's where I was kind of like really not interested in it.
Yeah, I have
Um,
zero interest. You know how I feel about puzzle games. If that's
yeah,
all it is, I can't promise I'm ever gonna play it.
yeah. There were good things about Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but they didn't really come out as well as they wanted it to. But that game ultimately did kind of bomb in a way. I think Tomb Raider is a game that will always sell eventually, no matter what. Tomb Raider will sell with people. Just by name off alone, it's an interesting series and how it does that. Um, but moving on, Square Enix Europe also did the Thief reboot, which is a disaster of a title. I know some people, I think, I don't know, it's not really remembered fondly. I do not like it. Um, then the Deus Ex series, they single-handedly ran into the ground after the massive success of Human Revolution. Freaking Mankind Divided just shot that series in the foot, and now we lost the Deus Ex series because they tried to make that thing like Call of Duty. They wanted to make it the next biggest thing on the planet, not kind of really not understanding what like who likes Deus Ex and why it's special. So yeah, that Deus Ex is dead now because of them. Um, I think Life is Strange was an accident and success. You just like give this small team just a very small story game, and I think that like it's sad that Square Enix Europe's best game in years was a small budget story title. Then they made the Hitman remake, which again that was Hitman remake was pretty great, but ultimately did end up failing because of the episodic releases. But I mean, ultimately, I still today is pretty good. And Hitman 3 obviously just came out and very, very good. IO is now publishing on their own. So Square Enix dropped them. Just shows you another like disappointment.
So you can't
Um,
do stealth games. Won't play. I can't do Hitman. I tried Hitman. Apparently, you got to sneak up on people and assassinate them. Not my style. I'm more the run in, kill, take on everyone that finds me.
Hitman. Oh, I won't get into it, but I love the Hitman series. The more recent games are absolutely incredible. Hitman 3 is perfect. Um, And then to catch it all up with modern times, within the last year, Square Enix Europe released the ultimate disaster of disasters for them, the Avengers title.
Yeah, that one caught me off guard that it was as hated as it was.
It's just a bad game. It's like it's it's the thing of like you give a team like it's made by the people who made Tomb Raider, the first two games, not Shadow, Tomb Raider and Rise of Tomb Raider. Um, it's Here's the thing. It's a good story. It's a very solid like story title, like single player title. Unfortunately, that's not what they wanted the game to be. They wanted it to be another live service, extended, the game goes on for years type of deal. And it, again, they companies that don't understand how that's done and how that's built up naturally will always end up failing. You see with Anthem and now with Avengers, it's a disaster. It's really, yeah, that's an episode of itself. I didn't really want to go into, but I wanted to like the Avengers game. Um, Coco, I think you should still play it because it's still, I think the campaign has some moments. It's just stop after that because unless you want to like load the same area over and over again, it's not worth it.
I don't know. I don't. My issue. I've had me and Marvel. Uh, what's the word? What's the word when you have a group get? Me and Marvel Ties, I have a bunch of characters in that currently at war because Ultimate Alliance 3 pissed me off.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah, you didn't care for that one, right? Because of the leveling up system.
Yeah, to get anywhere, you had to level people up and you had to go back and replay it to level it up. Again, you would think I'd be into it considering I fuck with Pokemon hard. But as like it was fun to play with other people, but by yourself it just got repetitive.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
But
I still have to play it.
Outriders.
Yes,
So
finally moving on to Outriders today.
so Dickerson actually called me and was like, "Hey, I need you to play this demo. It's important." And I played it and I enjoyed it greatly. But what surprised me is that it's hard to explain my taste in video games. But if I had to explain it, it would be Outriders. Like
Yeah.
that is a heavily Coco D Puff game. And the fact that Dickerson enjoys it so much doesn't surprise me. It's a fun game. It's just like I didn't expect him to be like, this is the game I want to talk about.
Yeah. See, I didn't expect that either. I downloaded the demo like fully expecting, just ready to be like, okay, all right. Like I remember the previews when they first had it released or showed off a year and a half ago. They were not great. A lot of them were like, this is okay. And like it was supposed to be the big like, hey, announcement, here's the game, check it out. And then no one was really hot on it. They were really down on it. So that's like concerning when you're when your first like announcement of your game is not great. That's concerning a little bit. So I was fully expecting to just play this and just whatever. I knew people were playing and be like, hey, it's all right. And I was like, okay, all right, we'll try it. I downloaded the demo and the prologue blew me away. It Yes, it has issues. Yes, the controls are a little off. It's a little wonky. It needs to be tightened up a bit. I do not think it will. But hey, it's fine. I don't really get unless the shooting controls are actually broken. I don't get too upset. You just adapt. Um, and I think the main character is absolutely the most funny dude, bro. At least for the male main character, he is atrocious. But I think everybody around him is telling a good story. The prologue, I just want to walk through this. So, how many times have we heard the sci-fi story of Earth is dead, new planet? Like,
It's
I've
as someone who watches an insane amount of TV, it's damn near every sci-fi show.
Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, "Oh, we're going with that." But hey, that's a story I can get behind. So let's see how it's done. And it's done this just really cool. Like I love when you first get on the planet and it's just quiet. You're just kind of exploring, you're talking to people. Not really what I expected from like this shooter focused like live service game. And it's a little like a slow start. It's slow, which is great. I It gives you a moment to appreciate the world. You kind of like you soak it in. You go explore, you go after that one, you touch down on the planet, you talk a little bit, you do the tutorial shooting, which is just surprisingly kind of cool. Like just very like the holograms are really crazy. Like you had the tank drive by, you had like guys pop out, just a little like hologram over the hill. But that was kind of neat. Uh, and then you go to the first like beacon or whatever, and it's just like I was expecting something to go wrong, and then you go back to the open area and just start shooting. I was like fully ready. I was like, all right, here it is. This is the when the shooting starts. But no, it still builds it up a little bit. And like the story just starts building up a little bit more. And I was like, okay, where is this going? Where is this weird sci-fi story going? And then you get to the second area and that's when the game really starts. You have the storm goes crazy and I was this entire time, maybe it was my fault for not looking at previews, but I loved the shock when you weren't fighting aliens, like, and then are put in cryo sleep. And Coco, give me that, like, how what were you? Were you shocked at all when any of this was happening, or was this pretty standard stuff for you?
Honestly, as someone who watches sci-fi shows like that, story-wise, up until like he wakes from cryo sleep, it's your basic ass sci-fi story.
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah. It's I think as soon as he wakes from cryo sleep, that's when I
That's
mean,
when
correct me if
things
I'm
started.
wrong.
Yeah, that's when the story I was like, okay, now I care. Because honestly, up to that point, it was the basic plot of the Godzilla anime on Netflix. It was the basic plot of the 100. It was the basic plot of Expanse, Battlestar, oh Caprica. It did nothing to impress me until he woke up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they put you in there and I was still like I was just kind of surprised at where it was going in general, and then they put you in that cryo sleep and you wake up and it's just World War One. It's like this weird, crazy no man's land is happening. Uh like you got crazy people, the guy you're
The, the,
with.
the people
Um
gave me Mad Max vibes.
oh, 100%, 100%. I was like, "Oh, we're in this Mad Max world now," and it was just like it felt like you were on a different planet when you are already on an alien planet. And I think that's the coolest thing probably to experience in the game is that it's like you landed on this alien planet and you're going to colonize it, and then you go to the cryo sleep and that planet's just completely changed. So that alien planet is now like it's just another alien planet now. It's like, for the lack of a better term for it, it's like double the alien planet. You you went there, you saw it as one way, and then you're there again. And it's completely different. It's like post-apocalyptic. 17 years, I think they say had passed.
30.
I was blown away. That was just crazy. And then you get shoot, then you get the fire, your powers, and you get to like so Brandon, what class did you pick? Did you I can't
Well,
remember which
just
one.
for fun, I picked fire. But
You
if I
picked the
were to
fire,
actually
okay.
play this game, I probably would have went earth because you know me, that's my kind of jam.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did pick fire. I think fire in most video games, fire powers are the most fun.
It looked cool. I picked the teleporting one. There's like
Which
the teleporting, the sword, it's my jam. Like I saw that. As soon as I saw the sword, I was like, yeah,
if
found
we
my
were
class.
playing together, I can see you doing that, and I would because the tank is like they run in first, and like they're a giant wall, and I was like, that's me though.
Yeah.
So that would have definitely been what I played if I was playing this with a team. I would have been Earth,
Yeah, yeah.
but for the sake of the demo, I went Fire.
Yeah, cool, man. It's like it's a very cool scene when you get those powers. I love that. And it's just like the wall of fire is coming towards you, and you're just like, and
Ooh.
your character dies. He's
So
dead.
what pointed out to me about this game every time his scene like his setting changed, like whether he was in the camp or in no man's land or when he meets up with the people he knew before, it almost feels like the genre of game completely changes.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that because it went from like your basic sci-fi shooter game to like, no, this might be Mad Max
Mhm.
to what I don't know when he meets back up with the doctor lady. I want to say it was giving me Borderland vibes, but I don't think that's it. Maybe it was
Um,
not Mass Effect. I don't know. It gave me it reminded me of a game, and I can't quite pinpoint what game it reminded me of. But just every time he's in a new scene or like a new scene, it almost feels like the genre of the game has changed.
yeah. It does. It plays with a lot of different like kind of variety of like scenes, variety of tropes and stuff, like from the World War I area to like an alien planet, just like traditional like fauna and stuff. I think the game, so once you get the powers, I did not experiment with the fire powers. Obviously, I've only played as the shadow teleporter guy. I loved it. I think the gameplay is like really good combos. You can combine your powers to do some really crazy cool things. I did not expect that. In a way, I like Destiny, but I guess maybe I never put enough time into Destiny, but I never was able to. The idea of like teleporting behind an enemy, slowing them down with a punch, or like teleporting behind them and slashing them with a sword. So like you kill three of them, like they're hiding behind cover, you teleport behind them, you kill all of them, you heal with by killing them, then you run off to another place. It's just a really awesome flow of combat that I don't know what game has done that. I again, Destiny might have, and I just never got into it, but I loved what I played of Outriders. And I think so once you do that, you get back to your friends. And I love how the lady's a bitch. I love how she's just angry. She's just like, "I don't care that you're alive." I like that. That might be a stuff they do on TV shows a lot, but
No, no, that was refreshing to see. I enjoyed that. Like she was like not even remotely surprised. She was like, "Okay, did you bring me information I can use?"
yeah.
No, the TV trope is, "Oh my god, you're alive. The so much has happened." But no, I love the fact that she's like, she probably went through this a few times.
Yeah, oh yeah, like, she doesn't care, it's just like it's like, "Oh, great, you're alive, like, whatever, what are you gonna do? You're just a guy," you know? It's just such a cool, like I was just like, "Oh, okay. That's cool," like, just don't care, and it's refreshing, it's different. So then you go on your first little expo mission, just basically a tutorial on how the missions work and how you're supposed to go through the game. And that's throwaway. It's fine. It's just a little shooting gallery. It's okay. Um, but I think the game really starts being weird, and it's like the tone is all over the place. But I think I almost want to say maybe it's just the optimist in me, but it feels like it's on purpose. I feel like there's hope. So
Oh,
Coco,
absolutely. Because they're doing that thing that I absolutely love this. I love this character type where like I love when a character gets thrown into a crazy ass situation instead of freaking out or crying or like bitching about, they're just like, okay, this is my reality. I'll figure it out later. Right now, I'm just gonna go kick ass.
He's definitely that. He's a little bit too much of that type for me. He's like, yeah, man, whatever. Like he's very dude bro, like I said. But the first side quest is pretty insane with how it happens. It's funny because it's like kind of bad, but I think it's on purpose. So the first side quest, you go to this vendor. This guy's like, "Hey, I got some stuff for you. You want to like come check out my wares?" And you're like, "Oh," he's like, "Okay, okay." So he's like, the good stuff is in the back," and your guy's like, "All right." So he goes with him. Then some guy just over in the corner just shoots him and kills him. And then he's like, "Dude, he was gonna give me stuff, man. Like, why'd you kill him?" And then you kill that guy. And it's just like, what is happening here? Like, he goes from your character's just an asshole. He's just a jerk. And I don't know. It's like sometimes he cares though. It's weird. And then there are two more side quests that you do. And one later on, you get revenge on this one guy. But the noticeable thing is both characters tell you, they say, like, hey, you're a good person. The game goes out of its way to remind you that, like, telling your character you're a good person. And then your character, he doesn't really answer, he doesn't really say anything. But I really hope they do something with that because there's something there. I think he's a jerk. He's no good. He's just a gunner. He's just someone who fights. But I think they almost are kind of hinting at like maybe something more. And I know the girl mentions it, kind of like finding your purpose on this new like planet. And I feel like that's the story where it's gonna go. I hope so at least. Um, just kind of about finding your purpose and finding like how to be a good person on this new planet because I think your character like he didn't like who he was on Earth. I feel like I get this the
He
vibe
was
he was kind of down on who he was.
he was a hoodlum.
Hoodlum, is that his quote? Is that what he says?
Probably not. My character is
Yeah.
black, so probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I don't know, in a way it's like I feel like the story is trying to redeem him as a character to be redeemed. And the demo goes along, it's a little bit more like schlock, and they introduce um I guess they introduce kind of like hints of like who a villain might be and stuff. But overall, I think it's just very cool. And unfortunately it ends. I mean, the game demo is pretty long, but it does end as soon as you like they say you're going to go to a city now,
Yeah, it's
and
about a 2 hour long demo, I think.
yeah, it's a very long demo. I don't know what city we're going to go to, but they have me interested, and that's the shocking thing. I did not expect this game to interest me with its story of all things. It just tells like it's just a
Honestly, I was gonna say you got me. Like, I kind of want to buy it now.
yeah, I know, me
Like, I
too.
got questions that I kind of need answered.
Yeah, and like it may not be the best written
Also,
story, but it's
it's
very
generally fun.
yeah, oh yeah, it's super fun, which I did not
Like so
expect.
far, it's. I mean, like I said, as someone who's watched a lot of TV and sci-fi shows, it's a pretty basic story. But still, I always eat those stories up, so I don't care.
Yeah, it's entertaining. That's the thing. It's good popcorn. You just
Now, there is one major flaw I have with this game.
yes.
DickRson, they brought back the cornrows.
No.
I went to customize my damn character.
Oh no.
The only look I had were the dreads, DickRson.
Oh no.
They didn't have a fade. They didn't have an afro. All they had was weird ass frat boy anime hair.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, no, I will admit too, I don't like my guy's hair. I don't like how he looks.
I've never seen you make a good character in customization.
Well, I this one I'll agree with you. He looks like a frat boy. And that's ugh.
Listeners, fans, people, I've known DickRson over half my life. This man has never made a customizable character that don't look goofy as fuck.
I try to make him too much like anime. Anime, oh gosh, me. I don't know. I changed my character in Final Fantasy 14, so I think he looks better.
You told me that the last time and you were incorrect.
I think I don't know.
If
Hopefully.
any of you ever want to know what DickRson's like, watch Ready Player One. The main character, that's DickRson.
I've still
Like
never
I
seen
cannot stress enough. That movie is basically Ready Player One, a DickRson biography.
I still have to watch it. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Outriders is very entertaining. A story, gameplay I never expected to get into. A game that I went in very cynical about, and it blew me away. It may not be the best game, far from it. It'll probably, like, I guess, probably end up at a 76 on Metacritic or a 77. But man, especially after watching the trailer that plays once the demo ends, I'm invested. I want to know what happens to
See,
this story.
sometimes you just need a good, simple story with fun gameplay.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
and
think that's what this is. It's a simple story that's just fun. It's just a fun game. Kind of
it
like
is.
Bulletstorm. I don't know what Bulletstorm story is. I'm pretty sure it's stupid. But damn, that game is fun.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's the important thing. I so before we go, I want your final opinion on the theory that I have. I want this to happen very badly. Do you think,
Let's hear it.
or do you think it may be in the game, it may be DLC? Do you think that we'll go back to Earth?
Earth is gonna be something's you're gonna see Earth. There is no way they're gonna pull this storyline and you do not see Earth.
Down, down. I'm down with it. Okay. At least
Like you
see
might
Earth.
not go back to it, but you're gonna see it.
That's all I want. That's all I need. I just
That is, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually went in a circle. It's been Earth all along.
oh my god. They landed on Earth.
That game seems that game seems simple enough that it would pull it. But no, I mean, obviously, then 100% you're gonna get flashbacks. 100% because they're gonna show you what happened on Earth.
I hope they do. I'm very interested.
But I do think at the end of the game, it'll be like we figured out how to deal with this place. I think we're ready to go back home or some crap like that.
Yeah, I feel like so it took them a while to get there. So I'm thinking that maybe like they'll find an alien teleporter or something like that that'll get them back to Earth.
And honestly, depending on what happened on Earth, watch this planet have a connection with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. So
Because
one thing that
we don't actually know what happened. It wouldn't surprise me if they pulled there's a connection.
yeah, it always does
Ever since Galactica pulled Caprica.
for all those
What's the last game that I played that did that? Enslaved was, I think, the last thing I played that did that.
enslaved. God, what a game. But yeah, no, I just really enjoyed the Outriders demo and I am very excited to play more. Man, I was looking at the game for years, just like whatever, whatever. But now you have me hyped. Outriders, you have me hyped. You're welcome.
Just, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, if there's a game that is deemed a Coco D game, the kind of game that I would play just for shits and giggles, and DickRson praises it, you should probably fucking play it. It doesn't happen often. I think the last time it happened hardcore was probably Sage Row.
Yeah, yeah. Consider me impressed. But thank you for joining me on this journey, Coco. We'll
I'm
hopefully have
always
some more
happy to
games.
listen in.
Well, thank you. And we'll have some more games to talk about soon. See ya.
Bye.